take your chance, and either not attempt to choose at all, or swear before you choose. If you choose wrong, never speak to lady afterward. In way of marriage, therefore, be advised.
Nor will not. Come, bring me unto my chance.
First, forward to the temple. After dinner, your hazard shall be made.
Good fortune, then, to make me blessed or cursedest among men.
Certainly my conscience will serve me to run from this Jew, my master. The fiend is at my elbow and tempts me, saying to me, Job, Launcelot Job, or Launcelot, or good Job, or good Launcelot Job, use your legs, take the start, run away. My conscience says no. Take heed, honest Launcelot, take heed, honest Job, or as aforesaid, honest Launcelot Job, do not run, scorn running with thy heels. Well, the most courageous fiend bids me pack. Fear, says the fiend. Away, says the fiend. For the heavens rouse up a brave mind, says the fiend, and run. Well, my conscience hanging about the neck of my heart says very wisely to me, my honest friend Launcelot, being an honest man's son, or rather an honest woman's son, for indeed my father did something smack, something grow to. He had a kind of taste. Well, my conscience says, Launcelot, budge not. Budge, says the fiend. Budge not, says my conscience. Conscience say I, you counsel well. Fiend say I, you counsel well. To be ruled by my conscience, I should stay with the Jew, my master, who, God bless the mark, is a kind of devil. And to run away from the Jew, I should be ruled by the fiend, who, saving your reverence, is the devil himself. Certainly the Jew is the very devil incarnation, and my conscience is a kind of hard conscience to offer to counsel me to stay with the Jew. The fiend gives the more friendly counsel. I will run, fiend. My heels are at your commandment. I will run.
Master, young man, you, I pray you, which is the way to Master Jews?
Oh, heavens, this is my true begotten father, who being more than sand blind, high gravel blind, knows me not. I will try confusions with him.
Master, young gentleman, I pray you, which is the way to Master Jews?
Oh, turn upon your right hand at the next turning, but at the next turning of all on your left, marry at the very next turning, turn of no hand, but turn down indirectly to the Jew's house.
Begot Sundays, 'twill be a hard way to hit. Can you tell me whether one Lancelot that dwell with him or no?
Talk you of young Master Launcelot? Mark me now will I raise the waters. Talk you of young Master Launcelot?
Oh, no, master, sir, but a poor man's son. His father, though I say it, is an honest exceeding poor man, and God be thanked, well to live.
Well, let his father be what he will. We talk of young Master Launcelot.
Your worship's friend, and Launcelot.
But I pray you, ergo, old man, ergo, I beseech you, talk you of young Master Launcelot?
Of Launcelot, so please your mastership.
Ergo, Master Launcelot, talk not of Master Launcelot, father, for the young gentleman, according to fates and destinies and such odd sayings, the sisters three and such branches of learning, is indeed deceased, or as you would say in plain tears, gone to heaven.
Mary, God forbid! The boy was the very staff of my age, my very prop.
Do I look like a cudgel or a hovel post, a staff or a prop? Do you know me, father?
Alack the day, I know you not, young gentleman, but I pray you tell me, is my boy, God rest his soul, alive or dead?
Do you not know me, father?
Alack, sir, I am sand blind, I know you not.
Nay, indeed, if you had eyes, you might fail of the knowing me. As a wise father that knows his own child. Well, old man, I will tell you news of your son. Give me your blessing. Truth will come to light. Murder cannot be hid long. A man's son may, but in the end, truth will out.
Pray you stand up. I'm sure you are not Lancelot, my boy.
Pray you, let's have no more fooling about it, but give me your blessing. I am Launcelot, your boy that was, your son that is, your child that shall be.
I cannot think you are my son.
I know not what I shall think of that, but I am Launcelot, the Jew's man, and I am sure Marjorie, your wife, is my mother.
Oh, her name is Marjorie indeed. I'll be sworn if thou be Launcelot, thou art mine own flesh and blood. Oh, Lord worshipped might he be. What a beard hast thou got! Thou hast got more hair on thy chin than Dobbin my fill horse has on his tail.
It should seem then that Dobbin's tail grows backward. I am sure he had more hair of his tail than I have of my face when I last saw him.
Lord, how thou art changed. How dost thou and thy master agree? I have brought him a present. How do ye now?
Well, well, but for mine own part, as have I set up my rest to run away, so I will not rest till I have run some ground. My master's a very Jew. Give him a present, give him a halter. I am famished in his service. You may tell every finger I have with my ribs. Father, I am glad you are come. Give me your present to one Master Bassanio, who indeed gives rare new liveries. If I serve not him, I will run as far as God has any ground. Oh, rare fortune. Here comes the man. To him, Father, for I am a Jew if I serve the Jew any longer.
You may do so, but let it be so hasted that supper be ready at the farthest by 5 of the clock. See these letters delivered. Put the liveries to making, and desire Gratiano to come anon to my lodging.
To him, Father.
God bless your worship.
Gramercy, wouldst thou aught with me?
Here's my son, sir, a poor boy.
Oh, not a poor boy, sir, but the rich Jews man that would, sir, as my father shall specify.
He hath a great infection, sir, as one would say, to serve.
Indeed, the short and long is, I serve the Jew and have a desire as my father shall specify.
His master and he, saving your worship's reverence, are scarce cater cousins.
To be brief, the very truth is that the Jew, having done me wrong, doth cause me, as my father, being, I hope, an old man, shall fruitify unto you.
I have here a dish of doves that I would bestow upon your worship, and my suit is...
In very brief, the suit is impertinent to myself, as your worship shall know by this honest old man. And though I say it, though old man, yet poor man, my father.
One speak for both. What would you?
Serve you, sir.
That is the very defect of the matter, sir.
I know thee well. Thou hast obtained thy suit. Shylock thy master spoke with me this day, and hath preferred thee, if it be preferment to leave a rich Jew's service to become the follower of so poor a gentleman.
The old proverb is very well parted between my master Shylock and you, sir. You have the grace of God, sir, and he hath enough.
Thou speakest well. Go, father, with thy son. Take leave of thy old master and inquire my lodging out. Give him a livery more guarded than his fellows. See it done.
Farther in, I cannot get a service. No, I have ne'er a tongue in my head. If any man in Italy have a fairer table which doth offer to swear upon a book, I shall have good fortune. Go to. Here's a simple line of life. Here's a small trifle of wives. The last 15 wives is nothing. 11 widows and 9 maids is simple coming in for one man. And then to escape drowning thrice, and to be in peril of my life for the edge of a feather bed, here are simple skates. Well, if fortune be a woman, she's a good wench for this, yeah. Father, come, I'll take my leave of the Jew in the twinkling.
I pray thee, good Leonardo, think on this. These things being bought and orderly bestowed, return in haste, for I do feast tonight my best esteemed acquaintance. Hie thee, go.
My best endeavor shall be done herein.
Where's your master? Where's your master? Can you hear me?
Yonder, sir. He walks.
Signor Bassanio,
Gratiano,
I have a suit for you.
you have obtained it.
You must not deny me. I must go with you to Belmont.
Why then you must. But hear thee, Gratiano, thou art too wild, too rude, and bold of voice, parts that become thee happily enough, and in such eyes as ours appear not false. But where thou art not known, why, there they show something too liberal. Pray thee take pain to allay with some cold drops of modesty thy skipping spirit, lest through thy wild behavior I be misconstrued in the place I go to, and lose my hopes.
Signor Bassanio, hear me. If I do not put on a sober habit, talk with respect, and swear but now and then, wear prayer books in my pocket, look demurely, nay more, while grace is saying, hood mine eyes thus with my hat, and sigh and say, Amen. Use all the observances of civility like one well studied in a sad extent to please his grandam, never trust me more.
Well, we shall see your bearing.
Nay, but I bar tonight. You shall not gauge me by what we do tonight.
No, that were pity. I would entreat you rather to put on your boldest suit of mirth, for we have friends that purpose merriment. But fare you well, I have some business.
And I must, to Lorenzo and the rest, but we will visit you at supper time.
I am sorry thou wilt leave my father so. Our house is hell. And that a merry devil, thou didst rob it of some of its taste of tediousness. But fare thee well. There's a ducat for thee. And Lancelot, soon at supper shalt thou see Lorenzo, who is thy new master's guest. Give him this letter. Do it secretly, and so farewell. I would not have my father see me talk with thee.
Adieu. Tears exhibit my tongue, most beautiful pagan, most sweet Jew. If a Christian do not play the knave and get thee, I am much deceived. But adieu. These foolish drops do somewhat drown my manly spirit. Adieu.
Farewell, good Lancelot. Alack, what heinous sin is it in me to be ashamed to be my father's child? But though I am a daughter to his blood, I am not to his manners. O Lorenzo, if thou keep thy promise, I shall end this strife, become a Christian, and thy loving wife.
Nay, we will slink away in supper time, disguise us at my lodging, and return all in an hour.
Gratiano.
We have not made good preparation.
We have not yet bespoke us of torchbearers.
'Tis vile, unless it may be quaintly ordered, and better in my mind, not undertook.
'Tis now but 4 o'clock. We have 2 hours to furnish us. Friend Lancelot, what's the news?
Shoot. Oh, and it shall please you to break up this, and shall it seem to signify?
I know the hand. In faith, 'tis a fair hand, and whiter than the paper it writ on. Is the fair hand that writ?
Michael?
I'm trying to get to the line. I'm sorry.
Middle of 37.
Love news and faith.
Okay. By your leave, sir.
Fine.
Whither goest thou?
Marry, sir, to bid my old master the Jew to sup tonight with my new master the Christian.
Hold here, take this. Tell gentle Jessica I will not fail her. Speak it privately. Go, gentlemen. Will you prepare for this mask tonight? I am provided of a torchbearer.
Aye, marry, I'll be gone about it straight.
And so will I.
Meet me in Gratiano at Gratiano's lodging some hour hence.
'Tis good we do so.
Was not that the letter from fair Jessica?
I must needs tell thee all. She hath directed how I shall take her from her father's house, what gold and jewels she is furnished with, what page's suit she hath in readiness. If e'er the Jew her father come to heaven, it will be for his gentle daughter's sake, and never dare misfortune cross her foot, unless she do it under this excuse, that she is issue to a faithless Jew. Come, go with me. Peruse this as thou goest. Fair Jessica shall be my torchbearer.
Well, thou shalt see. Thy eyes shall be thy judge, the difference of old Shylock and Bassanio. What, Jessica? Thou shalt not gormandize as thou hast done with me. What, Jessica? and sleep and snore and rend apparel out. What, Jessica, I say,
Why, Jessica?
who bids thee call? Who bids thee call? I did not bid thee call.
Your worship was wont to tell me I could do nothing without bidding.
Call you? What is your will?
I am bid forth to supper, Jessica. There are my keys. But wherefore should I go? I am not bid for love. They flatter me. But yet I'll go in hate to feed upon the prodigal Christian. Jessica, my girl, look to my house. I am right loath to go. There is some ill a brewing towards my rest, for I did dream of money bags tonight.
I beseech you, sir, go. My young master doth expect your reproach.
So do I his.
And they have conspired together. I will not say. You shall see a mask. But if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday last, at 6 o'clock in the morning. Falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 years in the afternoon.
What are the masks? Hear you me, Jessica. Lock up my doors, and when you hear the drum and the vile squealing of the wry-necked fife, clamber not you up to the casements then, nor thrust your head into the public street to gaze upon Christian fools with varnished faces. But stop my house's ears, I mean my casements. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. By Jacob's staff, I swear I had no mind of feasting forth tonight, but I will go. Go you before me, sirrah. Say I will come.
I will go before, sir. Mistress, look out at window for all this. Becomes a Christian buy, will be worth a Jew's eye.
What says that fool of Hagar's offspring, huh?
His words were farewell, mistress, nothing more.
The patch is kind enough, but a huge feeder. Snail slow in profit, but he sleeps by day more than the wildcat. Drones hive not with me. Therefore I part with him, and part with him. To one that I would have helped to waste his borrowed purse. Well, Jessica, go in. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you. Shut doors after you. Fast bind, fast find. A proverb never stale in thrifty mind.
Farewell, if my fortune be not crossed. I have a father, you, a daughter lost.
This is the penthouse under which Lorenzo desired us to make a stand.
His hour is almost past.
And it is a marvel. He outdwells his hour. The lovers ever run before the clock.
Oh, 10 times faster Venus pigeons fly to steal love's bonds new made. Then are they wont to keep obliged faith unforfeited.
That ever holds. Who rises from a feast with that keen appetite that he sits down? Where's the horse that doth untread again his tedious measures with the unbated fire that he did pace them first? All things that are with more spirit chased and enjoyed. How like a younger or a prodigal, the scarfed bark puts from her native bay, hugged and embraced by the strumpet wind. How like a prodigal does she return, with over-withered ribs and ragged sails, lean, rent, and beggared by the strumpet wind.
Here comes Lorenzo. More of this hereafter.
Sweet friends, your patience for my long abode. Not I, but my affairs have made you wait. When you shall please to play the thieves for wise, I'll watch as long for you then. Approach. Here dwells my father Jew. Oh, who's within?
Who are you? Tell me with more certainty, albeit I'll swear that I do know your tongue.
Lorenzo, and thy love.
Lorenzo, certain, and my love indeed, for who love I so much. And now who knows but you, Lorenzo, whether I am yours?
Heaven and thy thoughts are witness that thou art.
Here, catch this casket. It is worth the pains. I'm glad 'tis night. You do not look at me, for I am much ashamed of my exchange. But love is blind, and lovers cannot see the pretty follies that they themselves commit. For if they could, Cupid himself would blush to see me thus transformed to a boy.
Descend, or you must be my torch bearer.
What? Must I hold a candle to my shames? They in themselves, good sooth, are too light. Why, 'Tis an office of discovery, love, and I should be obscured.
So you are sweet, even in the lovely garnish of a boy. But come at once, for the close night doth play the runaway, and we are stayed for at Bassanio's feast.
I will make fast the doors and gild myself with some more ducats and be with you straight.
Now, by my hood, a Gentile, no Jew.
Shrew me, but I love her heartily, for she is wise, if I can judge of her, and fair she is, if that mine eyes be true, and true she is, as she hath proved herself, and therefore like herself, wise, fair, and true, shall she be placed in my constant soul. What, art thou come? On gentlemen, away! Our masking mates by this time for us stay.
Who's there?
Signor Antonio?
Oh, fie, Graziano, where are all the rest? 'Tis 9 o'clock. Our friends all stay for you. No mask tonight. The wind is come about. Bassanio presently will go aboard. I have sent 20 out to seek for you.
I am glad on it. I desire no more delight than to be under sail and gone tonight.
Go, draw aside the curtains and discover the several caskets to this noble prince. Now, make your choice.
This first of gold, who this inscription bears, who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. The second, silver, which this promise carries, who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. This third, dull lead, with warning all as blunt, who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. How shall I know if I do choose the right?
The one of them contains my picture, Prince. If you choose that, then I am yours withal.
Some god direct my judgment. Let me see. I will survey the inscriptions back again. What says this laden casket? Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. Must give. For what? For lead? Hazard for lead? This casket threatens. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantages. A golden mind stoops not to shows of dross. I'll then nor give nor hazard aught for lead. What says the silver with her virgin hue? Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves. Pause there, Morocco, and weigh thy value with an even hand. If thou beest rated by thy estimation, thou dost deserve enough, and yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady. And yet, to be afeard of my deserving were but a weak disabling of myself. As much as I deserve. Why, that's the lady. I do in birth deserve her, and in fortunes, in graces, and in qualities of breeding. But more than these, in love I do deserve. What if I strayed no farther but choose here? Let's see once more this saying graved in gold. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. Why, that's the lady. All the world desires her. For the four corners of the earth, they come to kiss this shrine, this mortal breathing saint. The Hyrcanian deserts and the vasty wilds of wide Arabia are as thoroughfares now for princes to come view fair Portia. The watery kingdom, whose ambitious head spets in the face of heaven, is no bar to stop the foreign spirits, but they come as o'er a brook to see fair Portia. One of these three contains her heavenly picture. Is it like that lead contains her? 'Twere damnation to think so base a thought. It were too gross to rib her cerecloth in the obscure grave. Or shall I think in silver she's immured, being 10 times undervalued to tried gold? Oh, sinful thought. Never so rich a gem was said and worse than gold. They have in England a coin that bears the figure of an angel stamped in gold, but that's in sculpted upon. but here an angel in a golden bed lies all within. Deliver me the key. Here do I choose, and thrive I as I may.
There, take it, prince, and if my form lie there, then I am yours.
Oh, hell, what have we here? A carrion death within whose empty eye there is a written scroll. I'll read the writing. All that glisters is not gold. Often have you heard that told. Many a man his life hath sold, but my outside to behold. Gilded tombs do worms enfold. Had you been as wise as bold, young in limbs and judgment old, your answer had not been enscrolled. Fare you well, your suit is cold. Cold indeed and labor lost. Then farewell, heat, and welcome frost. Portia, adieu. I have too grieved a heart to take a tedious leave. Thus losers part.
A gentle riddance. Draw the curtains, go. Let all of his complexion choose me so.
Why, man, I saw Bassanio under sail. With him is Gratiano gone along, and in their ship I'm sure Lorenzo is not.
The villain Jew, with outcries, raised the Duke, who went with him to search Bassanio's ship.
He came too late. The ship was under sail. But there the Duke was given to understand that in a gondolo were seen together Lorenzo and his amorous Jessica. Besides, Antonio certified the Duke they were not with Bassanio in his ship.
I never heard a passion so confused, so strange, outrageous, and so variable as the dog Jew did utter in the streets. My daughter, oh my ducats, oh my daughter, fled with a Christian. Oh my Christian ducats, and justice, the law, my ducats, and my daughter, a sealed bag. 2 sealed bags of ducats, of double ducats, stolen from me by my daughter. And jewels, 2 stones, 2 rich and precious stones, stolen by my daughter. Justice, find the girl. She hath the stones upon her, and the ducats.
Why, all the boys in Venice follow him, crying, his stones, his daughter, and his ducats.
Let good Antonio look he keep his day, or he shall pay for this.
Very well remembered. I reasoned with a Frenchman yesterday, who told me in the narrow seas that part the French and English, there miscarried a vessel of our country richly fraught. I thought upon Antonio when he told me, and wished in silence that it were not his.
You were best to tell Antonio what you hear, yet do not suddenly, for it may grieve him.
A kinder gentleman treads not the earth. I saw Bassanio and Antonio part. Bassanio told him he would make some speed of his return. He answered, do not so. Slubber not business for my sake, Bassanio, but stay the very ripening of the time. And for the Jew's bond which he hath of me, let it not enter in your mind of love. Be merry, and employ your chiefest thoughts in courtship, and such fair ostents of love as shall conveniently become you there. And even then, his eye being big with tears, turning his face, he put his hand behind him, and with affection wondrous sensible, he wrung Bassanio's hand, and so they parted.
I think he only loves the world for him. I pray thee, let us go and find him out, and quicken his embrace and heaviness with some delight or other.
Do we so? Nerissa?
Quick, quick, I pray thee, draw the curtain straight. The Prince of Aragon hath ta'en his oath, and comes to this election presently.
Behold, there stand the caskets, noble prince. If you choose that wherein I am contained, straight shall our nuptials rites be solemnized. But if thou fail, without more speech, my lord, you must be gone from hence immediately.
I am enjoined by oath to observe 3 things. First, never to unfold to anyone which casket 'twas I chose. Next, If I fail of the right casket, never in my life to woo a maid in way of marriage. Lastly, if I do fail in fortune of my choice, immediately to leave you and be gone.
To these injunctions, everyone doth swear that come to hazard for my worthless self.
And so have I addressed me. Fortune now to my heart spoke. Gold, silver, and base lead. Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. You shall look fairer ere I give a hazard. Hey, what says the golden chest? Let me see. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. What many men desire. That many may be meant by the fool multitude that choose by show, not learning more than the fond eye doth teach, which prize not to the interior, but like the martlet builds in the weather on the outward wall, even in the force and rod of casualty. I will not choose what many men desire, because I will not jump with common spirits and rank me with the barbarous multitudes. Why then to thee, thou silver treasure house? Tell me once more, what title dost thou bear? Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. And well said, too. For who shall go about to cozen fortune and be honorable without the stamp of merit? Let none presume to wear an undeserved dignity. Oh, that estates, degrees, and offices were not derived corruptly, and that clear honor were purchased by the merit of the wearer. How many then should cover that stand bare? How many be commanded that command? How much low peasantry would then be gleaned from the true seed of honor? And how much honor picked from the chaff and ruin of the times to be new varnished? Well, but to my choice. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. I will assume desert. Give me a key for this, and instantly unlock my fortunes here.
Too long a pause for that which you find there.
What's here? The portrait of a blinking idiot, presenting me a schedule. I will read it. How much unlike art thou to Portia? How much unlike my hopes and my deservings? Who chooseth me shall have as much as he deserves. Did I deserve no more than a fool's head? Is that my prize? Are my deserts no better?
To offend and judge are distinct offices and of opposed natures.
What is here? 7 times tried the judgment is, that did never choose amiss. Some there be that shadows kiss, such have but a shadow's bliss. Very fools alive, wis, silver ore, and so was this. Take what wife you will to bed, I will ever be your head. So begone, you are sped. Still more fool I shall appear by this time I linger here. With 1 fool's head I came to woo, but I go away with 2. Sweet adieu, I'll keep my oath, patiently to bear my wrath.
Thus hath a candle singed the mouth. Oh, these deliberate fools, when they do choose, they have the wisdom by their wit to lose.
The ancient saying is no hearsay. Hanging and wiving goes by destiny.
Come, draw the curtain, Nerissa.
Where is my lady?
Here, what would my lord?
Madam, there is alighted at your gate a young Venetian, one that comes before to signify the approaching of his lord, from whom he bringeth sensible regrets, to wit, besides commends and courteous breath, gifts of rich value. Yet I have not seen so lightly an ambassador of love. A day in April never came so sweet, to show how costly summer was at hand, as this forespurrer comes before his lord.
No more, I pray thee. I am half afeard thou wilt say anon he is some kin to thee. Thou spent some high day wit in praising him. Come, come, Nerissa, for I long to see quick Cupid's post that comes so mannerly.
Bastiano, lord, love if thy will it be.
Now, what news on the Rialto?
Why, yet it lives there unchecked that Antonio hath a ship of rich lading wracked on the narrow seas. The Goodwins, I think they call the place. A very dangerous flat, and fatal, where the carcasses of many a tall ship lie buried, as they say, if my gossip's report be an honest woman of her word.
I would she were as lying a gossip in that as ever napped ginger, or made her neighbors believe she wept for the death of a third husband. But it is true, without any slips of prolixity or crossing the plain highway of talk, that the good Antonio, the honest Antonio, oh, that I had a title good enough to keep his name company.
Come, the full stop.
Ah, what say'st thou? Why, the end is he hath lost a ship.
I would it might prove the end of his losses.
Let me say amen betimes, lest the devil cross my prayer, for here he comes in the likeness of a Jew. How now, Shylock? What news among the merchants?
You knew none so well. None so well as you of my daughter's flight.
That's certain. I, for my part, knew the tailor that made the wings she flew withal.
And Shylock, for his own part, knew the bird was fledged, and then it is the complexion of them all to leave the dam.
She is damned for it.
That's certain, if the devil may be her judge.
My own flesh and blood to rebel.
Out upon it, old carrion, rebels it at these years?
I say my daughter is my flesh and blood.
There is more difference between thy flesh and hers than between jet and ivory. More between your bloods than there is between red wine and Rhenish. But tell us, do you hear whether Antonio have had any loss at sea or no?
There I have had another bad match, a bankrupt, a prodigal who dares scarce show his head on the Rialto, a beggar that was used to come so smug upon the mart. Let him look to his bond. He was wont to call me usurer. Let him look to his bond. He was wont to lend money for a Christian courtesy. Let him look to his bond.
Why, I am sure if he forfeit, thou wilt not take his flesh. What's that good for?
To bait fish withal. If it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He hath disgraced me, and hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies. And what's the reason? I am a Jew. Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions, feed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer as a Christian is? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrong a Jew, what is his sufferance be by Christian example? Why, revenge. The villain you teach me, I will execute, and it shall go hard, but I will better the instruction. This is Antonio's man.
Gentlemen, my master Antonio is at his house and desires to speak with you both.
We have been up and down to seek him.
Here comes another of the tribe. There cannot be matched unless the devil himself turn Jew.
How now, Tubal? What news from Geneva? Hast thou found my daughter?
I often came where I did hear of her, but cannot find of her.
Why, there, a diamond, gone, cost me 2,000 ducats in Frankfurt. The curse never fell upon our nation till now. I never felt it till now. 2,000 ducats in that, and other precious jewels. I would my daughter were dead in my foot and the jewels in her ear. Would she were hearsed at my foot and had the ducats in her coffin. No news of them, myself. And I know not how much is spent in the search. Why thou loss upon loss, the thief gone with so much and so much to find the thief, and no satisfaction, no revenge, no nor ill luck stirring, but what lights at my shoulders, no sighs but my breathing, no tears but of my shedding.
Yes, other men have ill luck too. Antonio, as I heard in Genoa,
What? Ill luck? Ill luck?
hath an argosary cast away coming from Tripolis.
I thank God, I thank God. Is it true? Is it true?
I spoke with some of the sailors that escaped the wreck.
I thank thee, good Tubal. Good news, good news. Here in Genoa.
Your daughter spent in Genoa, as I heard, one night 80 ducats.
Thou stickst a dagger in me. I shall never see my gold again. 80 ducats at a sitting. 80 ducats?
There came divers of Antonio's creditors in my company to Venice that swear he cannot choose but break.
I am very glad of it. I'll plague him. I'll torture him. I am glad of it.
One of them showed me a ring that he had of your daughter for a monkey.
Out upon her. Thou torturest me, Tubal. It was my turkeys. I had it of Leah when I was a bachelor. I would not have given it for the wilderness of monks.
But Antonio is certainly undone.
Hey, that's true. That's true. Go, Tubal. Feed me an officer. Bespeak me a fortnight before. I will have the heart of him if he forfeit. For if were he out of Venice, I can make what merchandise I will. Go, Tubal, and meet me at our synagogue. Go, good Tubal, at our synagogue, Tubal.
I pray you tarry. Pause a day or two before you hazard, for in choosing wrong I lose your company. Therefore forbear a while. There's something tells me, but it is not love. I would not lose you. And you know yourself, hate counsels not in such a quality. But lest you should not understand me well, and yet a maiden hath no tongue but thought, I would detain you here some month or two before you venture for me. I could teach you how to choose right. But then I am forsworn. So will I never be, so may you miss me. But if you do, you'll make me wish a sin that I had been forsworn. Oh. Beshrew your eyes that have o'erlooked me and divided me. One half of me is yours, the other half yours, mine own, I would say, but if mine, then yours, so all yours. Oh, these naughty times puts bars between the owners and their rights, and so though yours, not yours. Prove it so. Let fortune go to hell for it, not I. I speak too long, but 'tis to peace the time to itch it and to draw it out in length, to stay you from election.
Let me choose, for as I am, I live upon the rack.
Upon the rack, Bassanio, then confess what treason there is mingled with your love.
None but that ugly treason of mistrust, which makes me fear the enjoying of my love. There may as well be amity in life between snow and fire as treason and my love.
Aye, but I fear you speak upon the rack where men in force doth speak anything.
Promise me life, and I'll confess the truth.
Well then, confess and live.
Confess and love had been the very sum of my confession. Oh, happy torment, when my torturer doth teach me answers for deliverance. But let me to my fortune and the caskets.
Away then. I am locked in one of them. If you do love me, you will find me out. Nerissa and the rest, stand all aloof. Let music sound while he doth make his choice. Then if he lose, he make a swan-like end, fading in music. That the comparison may stand more proper, my eye shall be the stream and watery deathbed for him. He may win. And what is music then? Then music is even as the flourish when true subjects bow to a new crowned monarch. Such it is. as are these dulcet sounds in break of day that creep into the dreaming bridegroom's ear and summon him to marriage. Now he goes with no less presence, but with much more love than young Alcides when he did redeem the virgin tribute paid by howling Troy to the sea monster. I stand for sacrifice. The rest aloof are the Dardanian wives with bleared visages come forth to view the issue of the exploit. Go, Hercules, live thou. I live with much more dismay. I view the sight than thou that makes the fray.
Tell me, where is fancy bred, or in the heart, or in the head? How begot, how nourished? Reply, reply. It is engendered in the eyes, with gazing fed, and fancy dies in the cradle where it lies. Let us all ring fancy's knell. I'll begin it. Ding dong bell, ding dong bell.
So may the outward shows be least themselves. The world is still deceived with ornament. In law, what plea so tainted and corrupt, but being seasoned with a gracious voice, obscures the show of evil? In religion, what damned error but some sober brow will bless it and approve it with a text, hiding the grossness with fair ornament? There is no vice so simple, but assumes some mark of virtue on its outward parts. How many cowards whose hearts are all as false as stairs of sand, wear yet upon their chins the beards of Hercules and frowning Mars, who inward search have livers white as milk, and these assume but valor's excrement to render them redoubted. Look on beauty, and you shall see 'tis purchased by the weight, which therein works a miracle in nature, making them lightest that wear most of it. So are those crisped, snaky golden locks, which marketh such wanton gambols with the wind upon supposed fairness, often known to be the dowry of a second head, the skull that bred them in the sepulchre. Thus ornament is but the guiled shore to a most dangerous sea, the beauteous scarf veiling an Indian beauty. In a word, the seeming truth which cunning times put on to entrap the wisest. Therefore then, thou gaudy gold, hard food for Midas, I will none of thee, nor none of thee, thou pale and common drudge, tween man and man. But thou meager lead, which rather threatenest than dost promised aught, thy paleness moves me more than eloquence, and here choose I, joy be the consequence.
How all the other passions fleet to air, as doubtful thoughts and rash embrace despair, and shuddering fear and green-eyed jealousy. Oh, love, be moderate, allay thy ecstasy. In measure reign thy joy, scant this excess. I feel too much thy blessing, make it less, for fear I surfeit.
What find I here? Fair Portia's counterfeit. What demigod hath come so near creation, moved these eyes? Or whether, riding on the bulls of mine, seem they in motion? Here are severed lips parted with sugar breath, so sweet a bar should sunder such sweet friends. Here, in her hairs, the painter plays a spider, and hath woven a golden mesh to entrap the hearts of men faster than gnats in cobwebs. But her eyes, how could he see to do them? Having made one, methinks it should have power to steal both his and leave itself unfurnished. Yet look how far the substance of my praise doth wrong this shadow in underprizing it. So far this shadow doth limp behind the substance. Here's a scroll, the continent and summary of my fortune. You that choose not by the view, chance is fair, and choose is true. Since this fortune falls to you, be content and seek no new. If you be well pleased with this and hold your fortune for your bliss, turn you where your lady is and claim her with a loving kiss. A gentle scroll, fair lady, by your leave. I come by note to give and to receive, like one of two contending in a prize, that thinks he hath done well in people's eyes. Hearing applause and universal shout, giddy in spirit, still gazing in a doubt, whether those peals of praise be his or no. So, thrice fair lady, stand I even so, as doubtful whether what I see be true, until confirmed, signed, ratified by you.
You see, my lord Bassanio, where I stand. Such as I am, though for myself alone I would not be ambitious in my wish, to wish myself much better, yet for you I would be trebled 20 times myself, 1,000 times more fair, 10,000 times more rich, but only to stand high in your account, I might in virtues, beauties, livings, friends, exceed account, but the full sum of me and sum of nothing, which to term in gross, in an unlessoned girl, unschooled and practiced, happy in this. She is not yet so old, but she may learn. Happier than this, she is not bred so dull, but she can learn. Happiest of all is that her gentle spirit commits itself to yours to be directed, as from her lord, her governor, her king. Myself and what is mine to you and yours is now converted. But now I was the lord of this fair mansion, master of my servants, queen o'er myself, and even now, but now this house, these servants, and this same myself are yours, my lord. I give them with this ring, which when you part from, lose, or give away, let it presage the ruin of your love, and be my vantage to exclaim on you.
Madam, you have bereft me of all words. Only my blood speaks to you in my veins, and there is such confusion in my powers, as after some oration fairly spoke by a beloved prince, there doth appear among the buzzing, pleased multitude, where every something being blent together turns to a wild of nothing, save of joy expressed and not expressed. But when this ring parts from this finger, then parts life from hence. Oh, then be bold to say Bassanio's dead.
My lord and lady, it is now our time that have stood by and seen our wishes prosper, to cry good joy, my lord and lady.
Michael?
My lord Bassanio and my gentle lady, I wish you all the joy that you can wish, for I am sure you can wish none from me. And when your honors mean to solemnize the bargain of your faith, I do beseech you, even at the times I may be married too.
With all my heart, so thou canst get a wife.
I thank your lordship. You gave me one. My eyes, my lord, can look as swift as yours. You saw the mistress, I beheld the maid. You loved, I loved for intermission. No more pertains to me, my lord, than you. Your fortune stood upon the caskets there, and so did mine too, as the matter falls. For wooing here until I sweat again, and swearing till my very ruff was dry with oaths of love, at last, if promised last, I got a promise of this fair one here, to have her love, provided that your fortune achieved her mistress.
Is this true, Nerissa?
Madam, it is so you stand pleased with all.
And do you, Gratiano, mean good faith?
Yes, faith, my lord.
Our fee shall be much honored in your marriage.
We'll play with them the first boy for 1,000 ducats.
What, and stay down?
Nah, we shall ne'er win at that sport and stake down. Who comes here? Lorenzo and his infidel. What? And my old Venetian friend, Celerio.
Lorenzo and Celerio, welcome hither. Is that the youth of my new interest here? Have power to bid you welcome. By your leave, I bid my very friends and countrymen. Sweet Portia, welcome.
So do I, my lord. They are entirely welcome.
I thank your honor. For my part, my lord, my purpose was not to have seen you here, but meeting with Celerio, by the way, he did entreat me past all saying nay to come with him along.
I did, my lord, and I have reason for it. Signor Antonio commends him to you.
Ere I opt his letter, I pray you tell me how my good friend doth.
Not sick, my lord, unless it be in mind, nor well unless in mind. His letter there will show you his estate.
Larissa, cheer yon stranger, bid her welcome. Your hand, Celerio. What's the news from Venice? How does that royal merchant, good Antonio? I know he will be glad of our success. We are the Jasons. We have won the fleece.
I would you had won the fleece that he had lost.
There are some shrewd contents in yon same paper that steals the color from Bassanio's cheek. Some dear friend dead, else nothing in the world could turn so much the constitution of any constant man. What, worse and worse? With leave, Bassanio, I am half yourself, and I must freely have the half of anything that this same paper brings you.
Oh, sweet Portia, here are a few of the unpleasantest words that have ever blotted paper. Gentle lady, when I did first impart my love to you, I freely told you all the wealth I had ran in my veins. I was a gentleman, and then I told you true, and yet, dear lady, rating myself at nothing, you shall see how much I was a braggart. When I told you my state was nothing, I should then have told you that I was worse than nothing. For indeed, I have engaged myself to a dear friend, engaged my friend to his mere enemy to feed my means. Here is a letter, lady, the paper as the body of my friend, and every word in it issuing lifeblood. But is it true, Celerio? Hath all his ventures failed? What, not one hit from Tripoli, from Mexico and England, from Lisbon, Barbary, and India, and not one vessel escaped the dreadful touch of merchant marring rocks?
Not one, my lord. Besides, it should appear that if he had the present money to discharge the Jew, he would not take it. Never did I know a creature that did bear the shape of man, so keen and greedy to confound a man. He plies the Duke at morning and at night, and doth impeach the freedom of the state if they deny him justice. 20 merchants, the Duke himself, and the magnificos of greatest port have all persuaded with him. But none can drive him from the envious plea of forfeiture, of justice, and his bond.
I was with him. I have heard him swear to Tubal and to Chus, his countrymen, that he would rather have Antonio's flesh than 20 times the value of the sum that he did owe him. And I know, my lord, if law, authority, and power deny not, it will go hard with poor Antonio.
Is it your dear friend that is thus in trouble?
The dearest friend to me, the kindest man, the best conditioned and unwearied spirit in doing courtesies, and one in whom the ancient Roman honor more appears than any that draws breath in Italy.
What sum owes he the Jew?
For me, 3,000 ducats.
What? No more? Pay him 6,000 and deface the bond. Double 6,000 and then triple that. Before a friend of this description shall lose a hair through Bassanio's fault. First, go with me to church and call me wife, and then away to Venice to your friend, for never shall you lie by Portia's side with an unquiet soul. You shall have gold to pay that petty debt 20 times over. When it is paid, bring your true friend along. My maid Nerissa and myself, meantime, will live as maids and widows. Come away. For you shall hence upon your wedding day bid your friends welcome, show a merry cheer. Since you are dear bought, I will love you dear. But let me hear the letter of your friend.
Sweet Bassanio, my ships have all miscarried. My creditors grow cruel. My estate is very low. My bond to the Jew is forfeit. And since in paying it is impossible I should live, all debts are cleared between you and I, if I might but see you at my death. Notwithstanding, use your pleasure. If your love do not persuade you to come, let not my letter.
Oh, love, dispatch all business and be gone.
Since I have your good leave to go away, I will make haste. But till I come again, no bed shall ever be guilty of my stay, nor rest be interposer twixt us twain.
Why don't we all take a 5-minute break?
Thank
So
you,
it is-
5.
Thank you. See you in 5.
Great. Thank you. Yes, yes, we'll be back in about 5 minutes for it. That's great. Thank you all so much. This is going very well. I mean, I think one of the things, I mean, is this is our third like reading of a play with this. We're learning stuff about it and learning what Zoom can do. Actually, I unfortunately didn't start at the very beginning, but this is streaming on YouTube right now. So I've just sort of started setting up an Instant Shakespeare YouTube channel, and this is on it now. So this is live, and I think I posted a link on Facebook if people are interested. If any of the people, I mean, attendees will be starting back in a few minutes, but if you have any questions or anything, you can like use the chat or the Q&A or raise your hand and I could recognize you. But hey, Toby, good to see you.
Yeah, my mic works fine.
Great.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that's a good idea to remember when you're not in a scene to mute yourself, because you're not aware of how much noise you can make if you get up and do something.
Yeah, or somebody going by, or
Yeah.
a
really
truck going by.
Yeah, we should really turn off our video when we're not on stage. We're not supposed to be seen when we're not on stage, and our movement might be distracting.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the way it's sort of, unfortunately, I don't have yet like really great controls to be able to sort of say, okay, if they have a thing like Spotlight, but as far as I've been able to figure it out with Zoom, you can only sort of spotlight one person at a time. It would be ideal if I could like spotlight the people who are in the scene and they would be there.
You can do that by clicking on them.
Each of us should be responsible for turning our own video off when we're not in the scene.
Well, I just walk away and it shows the ceiling.
Yeah. Well,
I don't find that distracting as much as the noise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the video
doesn't bother me. I look away
when you're not there, when you're not doing anything. But sometimes I like sort of being there just so I can sort of, if they're seeing me watching them, you know, if I'm listening.
You can also put on one face at a time. If you go up to the screen, yeah.
You can do that. The way that I believe the way this is being broadcast through YouTube and for the attendees is that what sort of is on my screen is what's going out, I think, as a host. I'm still learning about this, and I'm usually keeping this in speaker screen most of the time so that the person who's speaking will be on screen. But that's based on sound. So that if somebody is in the background and they make some sound, then it goes to them. So that's why I think even more important than necessarily turning off your video when you're not in a scene, you should mute yourself because, you know, something might fall over or something like that. But
oh yeah, it picks up everywhere.
Yeah. And also before we get started, I'm just trying to, as we're learning to do things, I think one of the things to try and do is to find a way for doing these Zoom things where you don't have light behind you as much and you had some way have some light coming on your face so that we can see your faces. Like, for example, Michael, I mean, because you've got all the light in back of you, we don't see your face as well.
Yeah, I know. I just realized that, but I've got the window in back of me. That's the daylight, actually. So if I turn this off, that's even worse, right?
Yeah.
I think yeah, that's why I added a lamp light in the daytime. It's just the way it is. my computer's facing.
Which do you think looks best, with me lit this way or with this lamp on? I have it.
Without the lamp, on, you look better.
Yeah.
And I only have one bulb shining right down on me from above.
My problem is I'm only on the phone, so I have to hold the damn thing. That's why you see the ceiling when I'm not here.
We can see your face well enough as is.
Yes. Yes, it's good. I mean, yeah, because there are lots of different ways that you could do it. I mean, we could do a reading. Everybody could be on iPhones moving around.
If you have iPhones.
Instead of the ceiling, you could either just, turn off the video, or you could just put your phone down on the table.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why you see the ceiling.
No, turn it over.
Yeah, or just stop the video and mute yourself and those things when you're not around. But I mean, it's up to you. And so all right, are we where are we at, Derek? You think is that been about 5 minutes, or
does anybody know what page we're on?
We are on 3.3, page 76. So
Great.
For those of you attending, we've taken the intermission, but we have gone more than halfway in the play. And in the Instant Shakespeare Company, because we read all of the words, it's longer than probably most productions you've ever seen, because there are very few that do these plays uncut. So
yes, I think we can start. Is everyone back?
Yep.
Looks like it. Okay. All right, good. Let's go. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. All right. Jailer, look to him. Tell me not of mercy. This is the fool that lends out money gratis. Jailer, look to him.
Hear me yet, good Shylock.
I'll have my bond. Speak not against my bond. I have sworn an oath that I will have my bond. Thou call'st me a dog before thou hadst a cause. But since I am a dog, beware my fangs. The Duke shall grant me justice. I do wonder, thou naughty jailer, that thou art so fond of to come abroad with him at his request.
I pray thee, hear me speak.
I'll have my bond. I will not hear thee speak. I'll have my bond, and therefore speak no more. I'll not be made a soft and dull-eyed fool to shake a head, relent, and sigh. Yield to Christian intercessors. Follow not. I'll have no speaking. I will have my bond.
It is the most impenetrable cur that ever kept with men.
Let him alone. I'll follow him no more with bootless prayers. He seeks my life. His reason well I know. I oft delivered from his forfeitures many that have at times made moan to me. Therefore he hates me.
I'm sure the Duke will not grant this forfeiture to hold.
The Duke cannot deny the course of law for the commodity that strangers have with us in Venice. If it be denied, it will much impeach the justice of the state, since that the trade and profit of the city consisteth of all nations. Therefore go. These griefs and losses have so baited me that I shall hardly spare a pound of flesh tomorrow to my bloody creditor. Well, jailer, on. Pray God Bassanio come to see me pay his debt. Then I care not.
Madam, although I speak it in your presence, you have a noble and true conceit of godlike amity, which appears most strongly in bearing thus the absence of your lord. But if you knew to whom you show this honor, how true a gentleman you send relief, how dear a lover of my lord your husband, I know you would be prouder of the work than customary bounty can enforce you.
I never did repent for doing good, nor shall not now, for in companions that do converse and waste the time together, whose souls do bear an equal yoke of love, there must be needs of a like proportion, of lineaments, of manners, and of spirit, which makes me think that this Antonio, being the bosom lover of my lord, must needs be like my lord. If it be so, how little is the cost I have bestowed in purchasing the semblance of my soul. From out the state of hellish cruelty, this comes too near the praising of myself. Therefore, no more of it. Here other things, Lorenzo, I commit into your hands. The husbandry and manage of my house until my lord's return. For mine own part, I have toward heaven breathed a single vow to live in prayer and contemplation, only attended by Nerissa here, until her husband and my lord's return. There is a monastery 2 miles off, and there we will abide. I do desire you not to deny this imposition, the which my love and some necessity now lays upon you.
Madam, with all my heart, I shall obey you in all fair commands.
My people do already know my mind and will acknowledge you and Jessica in place of Lord Bassanio and myself. So fare you well till we shall meet again.
Fair thoughts and happy hours attend on you.
I wish your ladyship all heart's content.
I thank you for your wish and am well pleased to wish it back on you. Fare you well, Jessica. Now, Balthazar, as I have ever found thee honest true, so let me find thee still. Take this same letter, and use thou all the endeavor of a man in speed to Mantua. See thou render this into my cousin's hand, Dr. Bellario, and look what notes and garments he doth give thee. Bring them, I pray thee, with imagined speed, unto the Tranex, to the common ferry, which trades to Venice. Waste no time in words, but get thee gone. I shall be there before thee.
Madam, I go.
Madam, I go with all convenient speed.
Come, Nerissa. I have worked in hand that you yet know not of. We'll see our husbands before they think of us.
Shall they see us?
They shall, Nerissa, but in such a habit that they shall think we are accomplished with that we lack. I'll hold thee any wager when we are both accoutred like young men. I'll prove the prettier fellow of the two, and wear my dagger with the braver grace, and speak between the change of man and boy with a reed voice, and turn 2 mincing steps into a manly stride, and speak a phrase like a fine bragging youth, and tell quaint lies like how honorable ladies sought my love, which I, denying they fell sick and died. I could not do withal, then I'll repent. And wish for all that I had not killed them, and 20 of these puny lies I'll tell, that men shall swear I have discontinued school above a 12-month. I have within my mind 1,000 raw tricks of these bragging jacks, which I will practice.
Why shall we turn to men?
Fie, what a question's that? If thou wert near a lewd interpreter, but come, I'll tell thee all my whole device when I am in my coach, which stays for us at the park gate, and therefore haste away, for we must measure 20 miles today.
David, your mic is off.
Yes. Your mic is off.
Okay.
This is my saint. Where is it?
There you go. You're on.
I'm on?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Sorry. Yes, truly, for look you, the sins of the father to be laid upon the children. Therefore, I promise you, I fear you. I was always plain with you, and so now I speak my agitation of the matter. Therefore, be of good cheer, for truly I think you are damned. There is but one hope in it that can do you any good, and that is but a kind of bastard hope neither.
And what hope is that, I pray thee?
Mary, you may partly hope that your father got you not, that you are not the Jew's daughter.
That were a kind of bastard hope indeed. So then sins of my mother should be visited upon me.
Truly then I fear you are damned both by father and mother. Thus when I shun Scylla, your father, I fall into Charybdis, your mother. Well, you are gone both ways.
I shall be safe by my husband. He hath made me a Christian.
Truly, the more to blame me. We were Christians and now before. Even now, many as could well live one by another. This making of Christians will raise the price of hogs. If we grow all to be pork eaters, we shall not shortly have a rasher on the coals for money.
I'll tell my husband Lancelot what you say. Well, here he comes.
I shall grow jealous of you shortly, Lancelot, if you thus get my wife into corners.
Nay, you need not fear us, Lorenzo. Lancelot and I are out. He tells me flatly there is no mercy for me in heaven because I am a Jew's daughter. And he says you are no good member of the Commonwealth, for in converting Jews to Christians, you raise the price of pork.
I shall answer that better to the Commonwealth than you can the getting of the Negro's belly. The Moor is with child by you, Lancelot.
It is much that the more should be more than reason, but if she be less than an honest woman, she is indeed more than I took her for.
How every fool can play upon the word. I think the best grace of wit will shortly turn into silence, and discourse grow commendable in none only but parrots. Go in, Sarah, bid them prepare for dinner.
That is done, sir. They have all stomachs.
Goodly Lord, what a wit snapper are you! Then bid them prepare dinner.
That is done too, sir. Only covers the word.
Will you cover then, sir?
Not so, sir, neither. I know my duty.
Yet more quarreling with occasion. Wilt thou show the whole wealth of thy wit in an instant? I pray thee understand a plain man in his plain meaning. Go to thy fellows, bid them cover the table, serve in the meat, and we will come in to dinner.
For the table, sir, it shall be served. For the meat, sir, it shall be covered. For your coming in to dinner, sir, why let it be as humors and conceit shall govern.
Oh, dear discretion, how his words are suited. The fool hath planted in his memory an army of good words, and I do know a many fools that stand in better place, garnished like him, that for a tricksy word defy the matter. How cheerest thou, Jessica? And now, good sweet, say thy opinion.
So, pastoral expressing, it is very meet the Lord Bassanio live an upright life for having such a blessing in his lady. He finds the joys of heaven here on earth, and if on earth he does not mean it, it is reason he should never come to heaven. Why, if two gods should play some heavenly match, and on the wager lay two earthly women, and Portia one, there must be something else pawned for the other, for the poor rude world hath not her fellow.
Even such a husband hast thou of me, as she is for a wife.
Nay, but ask my opinion of that.
I will anon. First let us go to dinner.
Nay, let me praise you while I have a stomach.
No, pray thee, let it serve for table talk. Then howsome'er thou speakst among other things, I shall digest it.
Well, I'll set you forth.
What? Is Antonio here?
Ready, so please your grace.
I'm sorry for thee. Thou art come to answer a stony adversary, an inhumane wretch, and incapable of pity, void, and empty from any dram of mercy.
I have heard your grace hath ta'en great pains to qualify his rigorous course, but since he stands obdurate and that no lawful means can carry me out of his envy's reach, I do oppose my patience to his fury, and am armed to suffer with a quietness of spirit the very tyranny and rage of his.
Go one and call the Jew into court.
He is ready at the door. He comes, my lord.
Make room and let him stand before our face. Shylock, the world thinks, and I think so too, that thou but leadest this fashion of thy malice to the last hour of act. And then 'tis thought thou shrew thy mercy and remorse more strange than is thy strange apparent cruelty. And where thou now exactest the penalty, which is a pound of this poor merchant's flesh, thou wilt not only lose the forfeit, but touched with humane gentleness and love, forgive a moiety of the principal, glancing an eye of pity into his losses that have of late so huddled on his back. Now to press a royal merchant down, and pluck commiseration of his state from brassy bosoms and rough hearts of flints, from stubborn Turks and Tartars never trained to offices of tender curtsy. We all expect a gentle answer, Jew.
I have possessed your grace of what I purpose, and by our holy Sabbath have I sworn to have the due and forfeit of my bond. If you deny it, let the danger light upon your charter and your city's freedom. You'll ask me why I rather choose to have a weight of carrion flesh than to receive 3,000 ducats. I'll not answer that, but say it is my humor. Is it answered? What if my house be troubled with a rat, and I be pleased to give 10,000 ducats to have it banged? What? Are you not answered yet? Some men there are that love not a gaping pig, some that are mad if they behold a cat, and others, when the bagpipe sings in the nose, cannot contain their urine for affection. Masters of passion sways it to the mood of what it likes or loathes. Now, for your answer, as there is no firm reason to be rendered why he cannot abide a gaping pig, why he, a harmless necessary cat, why he, a woolen bagpipe, but of force, must yield to such inevitable shame as to offend himself being offended. So can I give no reason, nor I will not, more than a lodged hate and a certain loathing I bear Antonio, that I follow thus a losing suit against him. Are you answered?
There's no answer, thou unfeeling man, to excuse the current of thy cruelty.
I am not bound to please thee with my answer.
Do all men kill the things they do not love?
Hates any man the thing he would not kill?
Every offense is not a hate at first.
What, wouldst thou have a serpent sting thee twice?
I pray you think you question with the Jew. You may as well go stand upon the beach and bid the main flood bait his usual height, or even as well use question with the wolf. The ewe bleat for the lamb. You may as well forbid the mountain pines to wag their high tops and to make no noise when they are fretted with the gusts of heaven. You may as well do anything most hard as to seek to soften that, than which what harder? His Jewish heart. Therefore, I do beseech you, make no more offers, use no farther means, but with all brief and plain conveniency, let me have judgment and the Jew his will.
For thy 3,000 ducats here is 6.
If every ducat and 6,000 ducats were in 6 parts, and every part a ducat, I would not draw them. I would have my bond.
How shalt thou hope for mercy, rendering none?
What judgment shall I dread, doing no wrong? You have among you many a purchased slave, which, like your asses and your dogs and mules, you use in abject and in slavish parts, because you bought them. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry to them to your heirs? Why sweat they under burdens? Let their beds be as soft as doors, and let their palates be seasoned with such viands. You will answer, the slaves are ours. So do I answer you. The pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly bought. 'Tis mine, and I will have it. If you deny me, fie upon your law. There is no force in the decrees of Venice. I stand for judgment. Answer, shall I have it?
Upon my power, I may dismiss this court, unless Bellario, a learned doctor, whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today.
My lord, here stays without a messenger with letters from the doctor, new come from Padua.
Bring us the letters, call the messengers.
Good cheer, Antonio. What man courage yet? The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones, and all, ere thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood.
I am a tainted wether of the flock, meetest for death. The weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground, and so let me. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write mine epitaph.
Came you from Padua? From Bellario?
From both. My lord Bellario greets your grace.
Why dost thou whet thy knife so earnestly?
To cut the forfeiture from that bankrupt there.
Not on thy soul, but on thy soul, harsh Jew. Thou makest thy knife keen, but no metal can. No, not thy hangman's axe bear half the keenness of thy sharp envy. Can no prayers pierce thee?
No, none that thou hast wit enough to know.
Oh, be thou damned inexorable dog! And for thy life, let justice be accused. Almost makes me waver in my faith to hold opinion with Pythagoras that souls of animals infuse themselves into the trunks of men. My currish spirit governed a wolf, who, hanged for human slaughter, even from the gallows, did his fell soul fleet, and while thou liest in thy unhallowed dam, infused itself in thee. For thy desires are wolfish, bloody, starved, and ravenous.
Till thou canst rail the seal from off my bond, thou but offend'st thy lungs to speak so loud. Repair thy wit, good youth, or it will fall to endless ruin. I stand here for law.
This letter from Bellario doth commend a young and learned doctor in our court. Where is he?
He attendeth here hard by. To know your answer whether you'll admit him.
With all my heart. Some 3 or 4 of you go give him courteous conduct to this place. Meantime, the court shall hear Bellario's letter. Your Grace shall understand that at the receipt of your letter, I am very sick. But in the instant that your messenger came in loving visitation, was with me a young doctor of Rome. His name is Balthazar. I acquainted him with the cause in controversy between the Jew and Antonio the merchant. We turned o'er many books together. He is furnished with my opinion, which bettered with his own learning, the greatness whereof I cannot enough commend. Comes with him in my importunity to fill up your Grace's request in my stead. I beseech you, let his lack of years be no impediment to let him lack a reverend estimation, for I never knew so young a body with so old a soul, a bead rather. I leave him to your gracious acceptance, whose trial shall better publish his commendation. You hear the learned Bellario that he writes, and here I take it, is the doctor come. Give me your hand. Came you from old Bellario?
I did, my lord.
You are welcome. Take your place. Are you acquainted with the difference that holds the present question in the court?
I am informed thoroughly of the cause. Which is the merchant here, and which is the Jew?
Antonio and old Shylock both stand forth.
Is your name Shylock?
Shylock is my name.
Of a strange nature is the suit you follow, yet in such rule that the Venetian law cannot impugn you as you do proceed. You stand within his danger, do you not?
Aye, so he says.
Do you confess the bond?
I do.
Then must the Jew be merciful.
On what compulsion must I? Tell me that.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptered sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself, and earthly power doth then show like God's when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jew, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice, none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, this strict course of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there.
My deeds upon my head, I crave the law, the penalty and forfeit of my bond.
Is he not able to discharge the money?
Yes, here I tender it for him in the court. Yeah, twice the sum. If that will not suffice, I will be bound to pay it 10 times over on forfeit of my hands, my head, my heart. If this will not suffice, it must appear that malice bears down truth. And I beseech you, rest once the law to your authority, to do a great right, do a little wrong, and curb this cruel devil of his will.
It must not be. There is no power in Venice can alter a decree established. 'Twill be recorded for a president, and many an error by the same example will rush into the state. Cannot be.
A Daniel come to judgment. Yes, a Daniel. Oh, wise young judge, how do I honor thee?
I pray you let me look upon the bond.
Here, 'tis most reverend, doctor, here it is.
Shylock, there's thrice thy money offered thee.
An oath, an oath. I have an oath in heaven. Shall I lay perjury upon my soul? No, not for Venice.
Why, this bond is forfeit, and lawfully by this the Jew may claim a pound of flesh to be by him cut off nearest the merchant's heart. Be merciful, take thrice thy money, bid me tear the bond.
When it is paid according to the tenure. It doth appear you are a worthy judge. You know the law. Your exposition hath been most sound. I charge you, by the law, whereof you are a well-deserving pillar, proceed to judgment. By my soul, I swear, there is no power in the tongue of man to alter me. I stay here on my bond.
Most heartily I do beseech the court to give the judgment.
Why, then, thus it is. You must prepare your bosom for his knife.
Oh, noble judge, oh, excellent young man.
For the intent and purpose of the law hath full relation to the penalty, which here appeareth due upon the bond.
'Tis very true, O wise and upright judge. How much more elder art thou than thy looks?
Therefore, lay bare your bosom.
Aye, his breast, so says the bond. Doth it not, noble judge? Nearest his heart, those are the very words.
It is so. Are there balance here to weigh the flesh?
I have them ready.
Have by some surgeon, Shylock, on your charge to stop his wounds, lest he should bleed to death?
It is not nominated in the bond.
It is not so expressed, but what of that? 'Twere good you do so much for charity.
I cannot find it. I can't. It's not in the bond.
Come, merchant. Have you anything to say?
But little. I am armed and well prepared. Give me your hand, Bassanio. Fare you well. Grieve not that I am fallen to this for you, for herein fortune shows herself more kind than in her custom. It is still her use to let the wretched man outlive his wealth, to view with hollowed eye and wrinkled brow an age of poverty, from which lingering penance of such misery doth she cut me off. Commend me to your honorable wife. Tell her the process of Antonio's end. Say how I loved you. Speak me fair in death. And when the tale is told, bid her be judge whether Bassanio had not once a love. Repent not that you shall lose your friend, and he repents not that he pays your debt. For if the Jew do cut but deep enough, I'll pay it instantly with all my heart.
Antonio, I am married to a wife which is as dear to me as life itself. But life itself, my wife, and all the world are not with me esteemed above thy life. I would lose all, I sacrifice them all here to this devil to deliver you.
Your wife would give you little thanks for that if she were by to hear you make the offer.
I have a wife whom I protest I love. I would she were in heaven so she could entreat some power to change this currish Jew.
'Tis well you offer it behind her back. The wish would make else an unquiet house.
These be the Christian husbands. I have a daughter. Would any of the stock of Barabbas had been her husband rather than a Christian? We trifle time. I pray thee pursue sentence.
A pound of that same merchant's flesh is thine. The court awards it, and the law doth give it.
Most rightful judge.
And you must cut this flesh off from his breast. The law allows it, and the court awards it.
Most learned judge, a sentence. Come, prepare.
Tarry a little. There is something else. This bond doth give thee here no jot of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. Then take thy bond. Take thou thy pound of flesh, but in the cutting it, if thou dost shed one drop of Christian blood, thy lands and goods are by the laws of Venice confiscate unto the state of Venice.
Oh, upright judge, marked you, oh, learned judge.
Is that the law?
Thyself shalt see the act, for as thou urgest justice, be assured thou shalt have justice more than thou desirest.
Oh, learned judge, marked you, a learned judge.
I take this offer then. Pay the bond thrice and let the Christian go.
Here's the money.
Soft. The Jew shall have all justice, soft, no haste. He shall have nothing but the penalty.
Oh, Jew, an upright judge, a learned judge.
Therefore prepare thee to cut off the flesh, shed thou no blood, nor cut thou less nor more, but just a pound of flesh. If thou takest more or less than just a pound, be it so much as make it light or heavy in the substance, or the division of a 20th part of one poor scruple, nay, if the scale do turn, but in the estimation of a hair, thou diest, and all thy goods are confiscate.
Second Daniel, a Daniel Jew, now infidel, I had thee on the hip.
Why doth the Jew pause? Take thy forfeiture.
Give me my principal and let me go.
I have it ready for thee. Here it is.
He hath refused it to the open court. He shall have merely justice and his bond.
A Daniel, still say I, a second Daniel. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word.
Shall I not have barely my principal?
Thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture to be taken so at thy peril, Jew.
Why, then the devil give him good of it. I'll stay. I'll stay no longer question.
Tarry, Jew. The law hath yet another hold on you. It is enacted in the laws of Venice, if it be proved against an alien that by direct or indirect attempts he seek the life of any citizen, the party against the which he doth contrive shall seize one half his goods, the other half comes to the privy coffer of the state, and the offender's life lies in the mercy of the Duke only, against all other voice. In which predicament I say thou standst, for it appears by manifest proceeding that indirectly and directly too, thou hast contrived against the very life of the defendant, and thou hast incurred the danger formerly by me rehearsed. Down, therefore, and beg mercy of the Duke.
Beg that thou mayest have leave to hang thyself. Yet thy wealth being forfeit to the state, thou hast not left the value of a corn. Therefore thou must be hanged at the state's charge.
That thou shalt see the difference of our spirit, I pardon thee thy life before thou ask it. For half thy wealth, it is Antonio's. The other half comes to the general state, which humbleness may drive unto a fine.
I for the state, not for Antonio.
Nay, take my life and all. Pardon not that. You take my house. When do you take the prop that doth sustain my house? You take my life. When do you take the means whereby I live?
What mercy can you render him, Antonio?
A halter gratis, nothing else, for God's sake.
So please my lord the Duke and all the court to quit the fine for one half of his goods, I am content. So he will let me have the other half in use to render it upon his death unto the gentleman that lately stole his daughter. Two things provide and more, that for this favor he presently become a Christian. The other, that he doth record a gift here in the court of all he dies possessed unto his son Lorenzo and his daughter.
He shall do this, or else I do recant the pardon that I late pronounced here.
Art thou contented, Jew? What dost thou say?
I am content.
Clerk, draw a deed of gift.
I pray you, give me leave to go from hence. I am not well. Send the deed after me, and I will sign it.
Get thee gone. but do it.
In christening, thou shalt have 2 godfathers. Had I been judged, thou shouldst have 10 more to bring thee to the gallows, not to the font.
Sir, I entreat you with me home to dinner.
I humbly do desire your grace of pardon. I must away this night toward Padua, and it is meet I presently set forth.
I am sorry that your leisure serves you not. Antonio, gratify this gentleman, for in my mind you are much bound to him.
Most worthy gentlemen, I and my friend have by your wisdom been this day acquitted of grievous penalties, in lieu whereof 3,000 ducats due unto the Jew we freely cope your courteous pains withal.
And stand indebted over and above in love and service to you evermore.
He is well paid that is well satisfied, and I delivering you, am satisfied, and therein do account myself well paid. My mind was never yet more mercenary. I pray you know me when we meet again. I wish you well, and so I take my leave.
Dear sir, of force I must attempt you further. Take some remembrance of us as a tribute, not as fee. Grant me 2 things, I pray you, not to deny me and to pardon me.
You press me far, and therefore I will yield. Give me your gloves, I'll wear them for your sake, and for your love I'll take this ring from you. Do not draw back your hand. I'll take no more, and you in love shall not deny me this.
This ring, good sir, alas, it is a trifle. I will not shame myself to give you this.
I will have nothing else but only this, and now methinks I have a mind to it.
There's more depends on this than on the value. The dearest ring in Venice will I give you, and find it out by proclamation. Only for this, I pray you pardon me.
I see, sir, you are liberal in offers. You taught me first to beg, and now methinks you teach me how a beggar should be answered.
Good sir, this ring was given me by my wife, and when she put it on, she made me vow that I should neither sell nor give nor lose it.
That excuse serves many men to save their gifts, and if your wife be not a mad woman and know how well I have deserved this ring, she would not hold out enemy forever for giving it to me. Well, peace be with you.
My lord Bassanio, let him have the ring. Let his deservings and my love withal be valued against your wife's commandment.
Go, Gratiano, run and overtake him. Give him the ring, and bring him, if thou canst, unto Antonio's house. Away, make haste. Come, you and I will thither presently, and in the morning early will we both fly toward Belmont. Come, Antonio.
Inquire the Jew's house out. Give him the steed, and let him sign it. We'll away tonight, and be a day before our husband's home. This steed will be well welcome to Lorenzo.
Fair sir, you are well overtaken. My lord Bassanio, upon more advice, has sent you here this ring, and doth entreat your company at dinner.
That cannot be. His ring I do accept most thankfully. And so I pray you tell him, furthermore, I pray you show my youth old Shylock's house.
That will I do.
Sir, I would speak with you. I'll see if I can get my husband's ring, which I did make him swear to keep forever.
Thou mayst I warrant we shall have old swearing that they did give the rings away to men, but we'll outface them and outswear them too. Away, make haste. Thou knowst where I will tarry.
Come, good sir, will you shew me to this house?
The moon shines bright. In such a night as this, when the sweet wind did gently kiss the trees, and they did make no noise. In such a night, Troilus methinks mounted the Trojan walls, and sighed his soul toward the Grecian tents, where Cressid lay that night.
In such a night did Thisbe fearfully o'ertrip the dew, and saw the lion's shadow ere himself, and ran dismayed away.
In such a night stood Dido with a willow in her hand, upon the wild sea banks, and waft her love to come again to Carthage.
In such a night Medea gathered the enchanted herbs that did renew old Essen.
In such a night did Jessica steal from the wealthy Jew, and with an unthrift love did run from Venice as far as Belmont.
In such a night did young Lorenzo swear he loved her well, stealing her soul with many vows of faith, and ne'er a true one.
In such a night did pretty Jessica, like a little shrew, slander her love, and he forgave it her.
I would outnight thee, you did nobody come. But hark, I hear the footing of a man.
Who comes so fast in silence of the night?
A friend.
A friend, what friend? Your name, I pray you, friend.
Stefano is my name, and I bring word my mistress will before the break of day be here at Belmont. She doth stray about by holy crosses where she kneels and prays for happy wedlock hours.
Who comes with her?
None but a holy hermit and her maid. I pray you, is my master yet returned?
He is not, nor we have not heard from him. But go we in, I pray thee, Jessica, and ceremoniously let us prepare some welcome for the mistress of the house.
Sola, sola, oh, ha, ho, sola, sola.
Who calls?
Sola, did you see Monsieur Lorenzo and Madame Lorenzo? Sola, sola.
Leave Halloween man here.
Sola, where?
Here.
Oh, tell him there's a post come from my master with his horn full of good news. My master will be here ere morning, sweet soul.
Let's in, and there expect their coming. And yet no matter, why should we go in? My friend Stephen, signify pray you within the house, your mistress is at hand, and bring your music forth into the air. How sweet the moonlight sleeps unto this bank. Here will we sit, and let the sounds of music creep in our ears, soft stills, and the night become the touches of sweet harmony. Sit, Jessica. Look how the floor of heaven is thick inlaid with patterns of bright gold. There's not the smallest orb which thou beholdst, but in his motion like an angel sings, still choiring to the young-eyed cherubins. Such harmony is in immortal souls, but whilst this muddy vesture of decay doth grossly close in it, we cannot hear it. Come, ho, and wake Diana with a hymn, with sweetest touches pierce your mistress's ear, and draw her home with music.
I am never merry when I hear sweet music.
The reason is, your spirits are attentive, for do but note a wild and wanton herd, or race of youthful and unhandled colts, fetching mad bounds, bellowing and neighing loud, which is the hot condition of their blood. If they but hear perchance a trumpet sound, or any air of music touch their ears, you shall perceive them make a mutual stand. Their savage eyes turn to a modest gaze by the sweet power of music. Therefore the poet did feign that Orpheus drew trees, stones, and floods, since not so stockish, hard, and full of rage, but music, for time doth change his nature. The man that hath no music in himself, nor is not moved with concord of sweet sounds, is fit for treason, stratagems, and spoils. The motions of his spirit are dull as night, and his affections dark as Erebus. Let no such man be trusted. Mark the music.
That light we see is burning in my hall. How far that little candle throws his beams. So shines a good deed in a naughty world.
When the moon shone, we did not see the can.
So doth the greater glory dim the less. The substitute shines brightly as a king until a king be by, and then his state empties itself as doth an inland brook into the main of waters. Music, hark.
Is it your music, madam of the house?
Nothing is good I see without respect. Methinks it sounds much sweeter than by day.
Silence bestows that virtue on it, madam.
The crow doth sing as sweetly as the lark, when neither is attended. And I think the nightingale, if she should sing by day, when every goose is cackling, would be thought no better a musician than the wren. How many things by season seasoned are to their rate praise and true perfection. Peace, how the moon sleeps with Edmundin and would not be awaked.
That is the voice, or I am much deceived of Portia.
He knows me as the blind man knows the cuckoo by the bad voice.
Dear lady, welcome home.
We have been praying for our husband's welfare, which speed we hope the better for our words. Are they returned?
Madam, they are not yet, but there is come a messenger before to signify their coming.
Go in, Nerissa. Give order to my servants that they take no note at all of our being absent hence. Nor you, Lorenzo, Jessica, nor you.
Your husband is at hand. I hear his trumpet. We are no telltales, madam. Fear you not.
This night, methinks, is but the daylight sick. It looks a little paler. 'Tis a day, such as the day is when the sun is hid.
We should hold day with the antipodes. If you wish, if you would walk in absence of the sun.
Let me give light, but let me not be light. For a light wife doth make a heavy husband, and never be Bassanio so for me. But God sort all. You are welcome home, my lord.
I thank you, madam. Give welcome to my friend. This is the man, this is Antonio, to whom I am so infinitely bound.
You should in all sense be much bound to him, for as I hear, he was much bound for you.
No more than I am well acquitted of.
Sir, you are very welcome to our house. It must appear in other ways than words, therefore I scant this breathing courtesy.
By yonder moon, I swear you do me wrong. In faith, I gave it to the judge's clerk. Would he were guilt that had it for my part. Since you do take it, love, so much at heart.
A quarrel, ho already, what's the matter?
About a hoop of gold, a paltry ring that she did give me, whose posy was for all the world like cutler's poetry upon a knife. Love me and leave me not.
What talk you of the poesy or the value? You swore to me when I did give it to you that you would wear it till the hour of death, and that it should lie with you in your grave. Though not for me, yet for your vehement oaths, you should have been respective and kept it. Gave it a judge's clerk, but well I know the clerk will near wear hair on his face that had it.
He will, and if you live to be a man.
If if a woman live to be a man.
Now by this hand, I gave it to a youth, a kind of boy, a little scrubbed boy, no higher than thyself. The judge's clerk, a prating boy that begged it as a fee. I could not for my heart deny it here.
You were to blame. I must be playing with you to part so slightly with your wife's first gift. A thing stuck on with oaths upon your finger, and so riveted with faith unto your flesh. I gave my lord a ring, and made him swear never to part with it, and here he stands. I dare be sworn for him he would not leave it, nor pluck it from his finger for the wealth that the world masters. Now, in faith, Gratiano, you give your wife too unkind a cause of grief, and 'twere to me, I should be mad at it.
Why, I were best to cut my left hand off and swear I lost the ring defending it.
My lord Bassanio gave his ring away unto the judge that begged it, and indeed deserved it too. And then the boy, his clerk, that took some pains in writing, he begged mine. And neither man nor master would take aught but the 2 rings.
What ring gave you, my lord? Not that I hope which you received of me.
If I could add a lie into a fault, I would deny it. But you see my finger hath not the ring upon it. It is gone.
Even so void is your false heart of truth. But heaven, I will ne'er come in your bed until I see the ring.
Nor I in yours till I again see mine.
Sweet Portia, if you did know to whom I gave the ring, if you did know for whom I gave the ring, and would conceive for what I gave the ring, and how unwittingly I left the ring, when naught would be accepted but the ring, you would abate the strength of your displeasure.
If you had known the virtue of the ring, or half her worthiness that gave the ring, or your own honor to contain the ring, you would not then have parted with the ring. What man is there so much unreasonable if you had pleased to have defended it with any terms of zeal, wanted the modesty to urge the thing held as a ceremony? Nerissa teaches me what to believe. I'll die for it. But some woman had the ring?
No, by my honor, madam, by my soul, no woman had it, but a civil doctor, which did refuse 3,000 ducats of me and begged the ring, the which I did deny him, and suffered him to go displeased away, even he that had held up the very life of my dear friend. What should I say, sweet lady? I was enforced to send it after him. I was beset with shame and courtesy. My honor would not let ingratitude so much besmear it. Pardon me, good lady, for by these blessed candles of the night, had you been there, I think you would have begged the ring of me to give the worthy doctor.
Let not that doctor e'er come near my house, since he hath got the jewel that I loved. And that which you did swear to keep from me, I will become as liberal as you. I'll not deny him anything I have, no, not my body, nor my husband's bed. Know him I shall. I am well sure of it. Lie not a night from home. Watch me like Argos. If you do not, if I be left alone, now by mine honor, which is yet mine own, I'll have the doctor for my bedfellow.
And I his clerk. Therefore be well advised how you do leave me to mine own protection.
Well, do you so? Let me not take him then, for if I do, I'll mar the young clerk's pen.
I am the unhappy subject of these quarrels.
Sir, grieve not you. You are welcome notwithstanding.
Portia, forgive me this enforced wrong, and in the hearing of these many friends, I swear to thee, even by thine own fair eyes, wherein I see myself.
Mark you but that? In both my eyes he doubly sees himself, in each eye one. Swear by your double self, and there's an oath of credit.
Nay, but hear me, pardon this fault, and by my soul I swear I never more will break an oath with thee.
I once did lend my body for thy wealth, which but for him and had your husband's ring had quite miscarried. I dare be bound again, my soul upon the forfeit, that your lord will never more break faith advisedly.
Then you shall be his surety. Give him this, and bid him keep it better than the other.
Ah, here, Lord Bassanio, swear to keep this ring.
By heaven, it is the same I gave the doctor.
I had it of him. Pardon, Bassanio, for by this ring the doctor lay with me.
And pardon me, my gentle Graziano, for that same scrabbit boy, the doctor's clerk, in lieu of this last night did lie with me.
Why, this is like mending of high waves. In summer, when the waves are fair enough, what? Are we cuckolds? Yeah, we have deserved it.
Speak not so grossly. You are all amazed. Here is a letter. Read it at your leisure. It comes from Padua, from Bellario. There you shall find that Portia was the doctor, Nerissa there her clerk. Lorenzo here shall witness I set forth as soon as you, and but even now returned. I have not yet entered my house. Antonio, you are welcome, and I have better news in store for you than you expect. Unseal this letter soon. There you shall find 3 of your argosies are richly come to harbor suddenly. You shall not know by what strange accident I chanced on this letter.
I am dumb.
Were you the doctor and I knew you not?
Were you the clerk that is to make me cuckold?
I, but the clerk that is to make me cuckold. But the clerk that never means to do it, unless he live until he be a man.
Sweet doctor, you shall be my bedfellow. When I am absent, then lie with my wife.
Sweet lady, you have given me life and living, for here I read for certain that my ships are safely come to port.
How now, Lorenzo? My clerk hath some good comforts, too, for you.
And I'll give them him without a fee. there do I give to you and Jessica from the rich Jew a special deed of gift after his death, of all he does possessed of.
Fair ladies, you drop manna in the way of starving people.
It is almost morning, and yet I am sure you are not satisfied of these events at full. Let us go in and charge us thereupon interrogatories, and we will answer all things faithfully.
Let it be so. The first interrogatory that my Nerissa shall be sworn on is whether till the next night she rather stay or go to bed now, being 2 hours today. But were the day come, I should wish it darked till I were couching with the doctor's clerk. Well, while I live, I'll fear no other thing, so sore as keeping safe Nerissa's ring.
Hey, thank you all. Thank you all
Yeah,
very much.
wonderful job, everyone.
Yes, yes, very well done. Excellent. And of course, going out on that last joke, you know, I mean, it's just really, really great when we have a closing vagina.
A closing funny.
Yeah. So thank you all very much. This
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Derek, for doing this. You did a great job at getting everybody together, and as Shylock, and really, this was terrific. So why did you want to take on this play?
I did this play last year. I really, it's very good, and Shylock's a wonderful role.
Oh.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you on that. It's interesting. I mean, like, it's 20 years since I run this thing. I can basically probably put together a reading whenever I want to do a part. But one of the parts that has been like the most sort of interesting to me is Shylock, because I think it's just so great that I mean, it's really horrible what they do to him, but in some ways he does bring it on himself. And I mean, I know that sometimes, I mean, like in Stephen Burkoff's thing, they've told as Shakespeare's villains, he put him on as a villain. And there's a villain to him, but there's just such a wonderful humanity that so much I think of. I've found that in doing it comes out of the hurt that he feels of having his daughter taken from him.
Has anybody ever seen the PBS series Shakespeare Uncovered? Because in the 3rd season, they did a fantastic episode dealing with the Merchant of Venice, hosted by F. Murray Abraham.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh, I saw him as Shylock, and he was really terrific.
Yeah, and he actually travels to Venice to walk the places where Shylock may have walked.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Well, was Shylock, were there moneylenders in Venice at that time?
I'm sorry?
Of course.
Which ones?
Well, one of the interesting things about Venice is that it was its own little nation city-state. You know, they were independent. It was like a country. That's why you have the Merchant of Venice, Othello, more of Venice. People knew about Venice because it was so important as a port for international trade.
Exactly.
Which is a reference to the idea that it's like the laws have to be upheld, because it really was a very important place and center for international trade and basically an independent country.
But the joke is that Shakespeare never visited Venice in his life.
Now, what I'm asking is whether there were Jewish moneylenders in Venice
Yes,
at that
there
time.
were.
Absolutely.
It was the only trade they were allowed to do, because they were
I know.
kept in the Jewish ghetto almost.
And slaughterers.
Right.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, one of the things in the Al Pacino movie of Merchant of Venice, which has some good things, some things I'm not as wild about it is, but they do give you a sense of the portrayal of like the fact the ghetto in Venice, where they would be locked in, where the Jews would be locked in, and which is my understanding was is sort of historically accurate of that, but that because Christians couldn't lend money, that the Jews had to do it, and so you needed them. Except, of course, in England, there weren't any Jews. I mean, because all of the Jews had been thrown out earlier, and most of the people who were allowed to sort of be there were Jews who had converted to Christianity. And but I just think Shylock is just as as a Jew and as a person, he's just really, really fascinating. Is there anything else you wanted to say about him, Derek? Or
I saw one production up at Stratford where they made the choice that Tubal is at the trial, and when Shylock insists on having his bond, even when Bassanio offers him all this money, Tubal turns his back on it. And I thought that was a great choice. You know, so we obviously can't do that here, but yeah. And someday, if I do a production, I would love to have that.
And swivel around in your chair.
Yeah.
But you have to. But in my view, there is one point where Antonio becomes absolutely unlikable when he insists that Shylock be made a Christian. For me personally, that is the one point where I really hate Antonio. He didn't need to do this, but he did.
Yeah, because it's like you'll become a Christian now, and so now you can't do the one job you've been able to do. That's really
they also took everything from him.
Right.
You know.
And how do you force someone to become of a religion that they do not believe? I mean, there was indeed Jews forced to become Christians or say they were Christians, but there's no way that one can compel someone's mind to actually adopt the other religion.
Which is why there are some schools of thoughts that Shylock died shortly after this trial, because his heart and his spirit were completely broken.
Yeah, I've heard that that's often done, and I think I actually didn't see. I saw one production of
the 1973 version with Laurence Olivier. I think that was one of the first ones that played on that theme.
Did anybody, you all saw the one Daniel Sullivan directed in the park, did you, in 2010?
No,
yes.
I didn't.
No.
I did.
I still remember what he was doing with that production was so brilliant. Do you remember the last scene where everybody exits but Jessica, and she's sitting there with the deed? And he took his time to have her look right upstage where Lorenzo had just exited, then back at the deed, then upstage, then back at the deed. She throws the deed into the pond, blackout. And to me, it was just such a clear message that she said, look, the money's going to go to him and I don't want him to have it. That's what I got from it. I just wonder if anybody else got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the thing, is that also Jessica is like a lot of other characters who are strong female characters and then in the end have almost nothing to say. And, which is...
I didn't think she was a strong character.
No, not at
Really? I mean, the fact.
No, I mean she
her own life.
behaves in it. She's behaving in a horrible way. If she simply loved Lorenzo and wanted to go off with him, that's one thing. But to steal her father's jewelry and to give the ring that her mother gave her father for engagement for a monkey, you know, she was behaving abominably.
Yeah.
She could have stolen away with her lover without stealing anything.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, she has a right to try to live as well, and some of that money would have
have a right
gone to her
to steal
anyway.
her father's stuff if she didn't accept the way her father wanted her to live. She was emancipating herself from him and from his support.
Well, it is also possible that Lorenzo may have hinted or made a slight suggestion, because we don't know what his own financial status was.
They partied with the money, yeah. And the thing that's what I like so much about the Daniel Sullivan was that the whole moon scene of her and Lorenzo is a fight and a realization that she might have just made a big mistake in her life.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought it was so brilliant. It was like, you know, it was not a romance scene at all. It was a scene full of guilt and remorse, you know, on her side.
That's interesting.
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. He did a wonderful job.
Bill Hecht.
Do you think she could have been protecting herself in some way by throwing out the deed in that?
Yes, that's what that's to me, that's what he was saying is that, look, the money's not going to go to me. It's going to go to him. And I don't want it to go to him. She wasn't throwing the deed out to have nothing to do with her father. She was throwing the deed out because she knew it was going to go to her husband.
Right.
And,
okay. Yeah, we're on the same page.
but yet, in the New York Times review, I looked at the comments. I mean, it was so clear. Daniel Sutherland could have made it clearer, but yet, even still, you'll see what you want to see. For example, one woman's comment was, "She doesn't need her father's money." I said, "No, that's not why she threw it out." How he made it so clear, but you know, people will still see what they want to see. You know, that she was just throwing it away because it was his.
It is. And it's also interesting in terms of the thing is that when Antonio, because basically, I mean, when the sentence is, it's okay, like half of the money goes to the state and half of it goes to Antonio because you did it. And Antonio's, my understanding of what Antonio's saying is that like, okay, I'll let him keep the half as long as he lives, as long as when he dies, it goes to his son-in-law, the Christian Lorenzo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she didn't want that.
Screwing it. I mean, which is also it's being sort of, it's offering something but demanding so much more while he's doing it, you know. And also I think it's so interesting that, I mean, like, have the sort of capitalist sort of levels that you have in this, in that Antonio is a big guy that you've got these other merchants who go around who are talking about him and all of that. But I mean, what he's got is like just peanuts compared to what Portia has, you know, that she's so sort of, I mean, just when they mention the amounts that it's like, yeah, I got.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing for it. And I sort of wonder about the fact that, oh, all of these people in the 20 Magnificos and all of these things, they go and like plead to the Duke about it, but they didn't put up any of the money, you know, they could have paid off Shylock.
They partied with the money. They partied with the money that they stole from Shylock. They didn't even help Antonio, their friend.
Right.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, because it was just, they had to put on like to look like prestigious enough to be taken in and to be a serious suitor to this rich prize, Portia. And Elena, thank you so much. Excellent work as Portia. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Technical issues early on, but it was really great. And I appreciated your disguise as your
yes.
for the courtroom. It was great. So yeah, I mean, this is really good, and I think this is just one of the most interesting plays, and one that can come back to, because there's so many different ways you can take every character. And for me, I mean, a lot of people do think of this play as anti-Semitic, but
yep.
I don't think it is at all.
Because you also have Shylock is just one of the most interesting characters ever. You
I think it's anti-hypocrisy.
See, I disagree. I think it is anti-Semitic because of the way he created Shylock as being as vicious and not emotionally available as he painted him. I think it is anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Well, I would disagree with that a little bit. I think Shylock is very emotionally available. He does talk about, you know, how he feels, how
we're talking about emotionally available to his daughter,
right? But not to the, you know, not when it's where they're talking about the pound of flesh.
I don't know. I think Shakespeare is putting a mirror up to the hypocrisy of the so-called Christians, leading back for, like, you know, a long history of Inquisition, and he's basically giving an answer to the anti-Semitic play that was written earlier and saying, now I'm going to have you take a chance to look at yourselves, which is why he doesn't call it the Jew of Malta. He calls it the Merchant of Venice.
Yeah.
Oh, the Jew
but there is
not enough.
Yeah.
But Antonio is the Merchant of Venice.
Yes.
What I'm saying, he's focusing on them. He's saying, don't focus on the Jew in this one. Focus on the merchant. That's why he calls it the Merchant of Venice. That's why somebody who I didn't really respect much of her opinion, but she opened me up to this at the ending of the play. She's a conspiracy theorist or whatever. She says, how did she get those ships back? I said, oh my God, you just opened up a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
Because if Portia's father was a merchant, and Jews can't be merchants, and Antonio's another top merchant, that the subtext of that, of the playing, to make the character full, is that she's not just helping her husband's friend out of nepotism. She's helping him out of guilt, because those ships were stolen by her father's people. They pirated the ships. It's a competition between merchants. So she feels guilty. That's why at the ending she says, don't ask me how I got them back.
Yeah, you shall not know by what.
Actually, it's just that she got the letter. She doesn't say anything about getting the ships back.
Yeah, but
she got the information.
But she has the information about it. She knows what happened to them.
Right.
But the ships, it says that it's said that the ships,
Some of them had come to port.
it had crashed on rocks.
Well, I guess I would probably have to ask Lily Robb what she was thinking when she played it, because that's what I got, and that's what Carlotta got. And even just the way she held her hand up and says, double it, double the money. I'm saying, oh my God, this is so loaded. This is not just about her feeling sorry for her husband's friend. She knows about it. You could feel it in her body language, just walking across the stage. And if Carlotta got it, I said, oh, that must be what she was playing. And it makes the character so much more fuller. You know what I mean? That if that's her other reason that she's got to get this back, is that she really screwed up. She screwed her friend, her husband's friend, you know? And he has a whole other motive. He just wants to break up his marriage. He wants Bassanio back. That's why he says to him, he says, go get the ring, give her the ring, give him the ring. You know?
That's an interesting thing. You could have it. Well, yeah, Antonio wouldn't know at the beginning anyway.
No.
It's sort of wild that they just married. Both of them just got married, and then they don't recognize their wives. But you know,
that's a great way to break up a marriage, because he's in love with them.
Well, I don't know. The words in the text here. At first, they were going to get married before he left, and then she says, "Go right away." So apparently, according to that, she said, "Don't wait for us to get married."
No, actually, she said, "Dispatch all business and be gone."
Yeah, dispatch all business and be gone, which is the marriage. So yeah.
They
so it was probably just a quick marriage before the local priest, and then.
Yes.
But very clearly, it's sort of the implication that it's a marriage, but no wedding night.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Antonio, to me,
why didn't they come with their husbands openly?
Why what?
Why couldn't they just come with their husbands?
Well, I mean, I think actually in some of the ways what Michael's been talking about in terms of this sort of conspiracy thing of how powerful and connected Portia's family is. I mean, why should she? When she can do this, I mean, the husbands would never sort of, you're going to pretend to be a judge? I'm not going to do that. Why? Women can't give men that kind of information because they don't know how to deal with it. Portia knows how to deal with it and how to save Antonio's life, and she does it. So
it also proves that she's a lot smarter than her husband or any other of the males.
She's a businesswoman. Double the money. What did she say? I love that line. Double it. Double the money.
Yeah, she learned from her father. That's what the I think that's how they used it in the National Theater production starring Henry Goodman as Shylock.
And I think she's kind of on to Antonio's sleaziness at the very ending too. When she says, "Sir, you're welcome," he says, "I am the cause of all this." I think she's actually saying, yeah, you are, so just shut up.
But then she does.
You're welcome here. Yeah.
I think we're getting a little
sort of, you give the ring. And so that she's used to sort of getting everybody working for her, which is what I think is also happening, the whole sort of power thing of the ring when she says, here, I'm giving you this ring, and with this ring, all my power, and then if you lose it, you don't have it. But she has the power again, and she's letting him think he still has it. But that's my interpretation. Although, I mean, Portia, a lot of people really hate on Portia, and some things are really great about Portia. When they did it at Shakespeare Company, and my parents had interviewed the actress who played Portia, that about talking about how cruel she is to Shylock in the trial scene. That how she was understanding it was that if Shylock was able to go ahead and kill Antonio, then everybody, all hell would have broken loose, and Shylock would have gotten killed, you know? And so that even though she's making Shylock suffer, she is doing it to save his life, which I thought was an interesting thing. And it's an interesting thing in that these characters, there's so many different ways that you can put their stories together. And
well,
so,
I mean, if you're going to play anybody with a bad motive, the character, when you're playing them, you can't tell yourself you have a bad motive. You got to always tell yourself you got a good motive, just like all creeps do. And they always tell them they're doing it for a good reason.
Yes, yes, yes. The devil, as we have some of the great lines from this one, the devil can cite scripture
for his purpose.
I love that one.
Yes.
Michael, why are you speaking to us in the dark?
He has
the lighting is bad. I keep trying to adjust the lighting. It's not, see, like,
Wait.
That's much better.
Yeah, but now you can't see my head there.
Yeah, it's because
I'll just messing around with the lighting. I guess because we've done evening ones where I put the backlight on and I was lit better, but maybe I'll try moving the thing for the next reading.
Yeah.
Well, or you could just lower the curtains or the blinds.
I don't have blinds or curtains. I have plants.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I think I figured out now how I can put my own screen up because I was able to do that. Was there anybody else able to do that?
What?
I was, yeah. I have it on my left side of my screen. It was fine.
Yeah, me too. I was doing it most times. A couple of times I got lost and I picked up my phone.
Yeah. I have four other people right at the top of my screen.
Right. I screwed it up a few times. I'm sorry, I missed some lines, but I couldn't. The screen was. I think I figured it out now how to do it.
Yeah. Well, this was great, and this is really such a wonderful a way to explore the play and to explore these different ideas about it. I mean, like in terms of whether is Shylock being. I don't think of Shylock the plays. My reasons why I don't. Actually, I just want to say that Ron Rosenbaum, who's a wonderful writer and who wrote a book, The Shakespeare War, it's all about Shakespeare. Someone gave a talk once where he felt that The Merchant of Venice is an anti-Semitic play and he didn't feel it should be performed. It is one of the most popular Shakespeare plays and it is performed a lot, and a lot of it because it's very controversial, and it is, of course, far and away the most popular Shakespeare play that they perform in Israel. And
really?
That's interesting.
So yeah, I mean, because I don't really see Shylock as a villain. I see him as a human. I see him as a hero in a lot of ways. There's lots of sort of things where in the court where he's like, well, you're saying, well, I say you have slaves. Why don't you give your slaves, marry them to your daughters?
Not only that, they came to him. He didn't come to them. They came to him and asked him for money. Yeah, that was what he had to do. He couldn't be in the trade business. The Jews weren't allowed. This is what he did. They knew he had to charge interest. That's how he made his living. He's got a total reason for that. Yeah, they don't make him perfect.
Right. And my other reasons why feeling it's not anti-Semitic is also because you have other Jewish characters who don't agree with Shylock in a lot of ways. I mean, Jessica runs away and converts, and I think in a lot of ways can be made to see somebody as like a Jew who's forced to convert by anti-Semitic persuasion. But and also Tubal, I mean, the way when he's giving him that great little scene where it's like, oh, he's getting so upset about these things, like, oh, well, this happened.
Good news and bad news, then good news and bad news.
And then
He's having a good time with it.
I mean, the Tubal doesn't really, I mean, we don't get that Tubal approves of Shakespeare, so this isn't like portraying Jews as part of some great Jewish conspiracy. As Christopher Marlowe did in Jew of Malta, which is a seriously anti-Semitic play. And
that's why I think he wrote this. Because the Jew of Malta was written when?
Yeah, the Jew of Malta was written first. And
so that's why he said, okay, fine, I'm going to call this one The Merchant of Venice.
Yeah, well, I don't know all of the, I mean, these are things that we can speculate about that are very, very interesting. But
Every time I've done readings of Antonio, I've tried something that hasn't worked. It just comes off as bad acting.
Oh,
In the courtroom scene.
I've just been reminded. I'd like to ask everyone here if you'll be in Sir Thomas More, which is going to be on May Day. I need people.
Yes, I will send you a thank you to everybody and send you information about this because it's going to be next Friday, May 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern time, which will be 1 p.m. Pacific. So if you also know of people on the West Coast who might want to be involved, they should also reach out to Eleanor about that. And I think that, Tony, did you have something you'd wanted to say?
Two things. If anybody wants to find out what possibly happened to Jessica after the events of the Merchant of Venice, the BBC broadcast a play called The Wolf in the Water, which supposedly takes place some years afterwards, and which I have a copy of, and I'm willing to share with anyone who wants it.
I'd like to see that. What does?
No, it's a radio play.
Oh.
And second of all, tomorrow, if you go on the BBC iPlayer website, they will be broadcasting a new production of Henry IV Part 1 tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 2:30 Eastern Time.
Wow. Oh, that's great. Great. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on. There was, Michael, did you just have one thing you want to finish up
No,
with?
it was too long. It was just about making a choice of playing Antonio as that the moment he says a pound of flesh early on without letting on, Antonio knows he's got it because he knows the law.
Oh, that Antonio some sort
And the whole courtroom scene is a big put on by Antonio because he knows he's got it.
I don't think that's a dramatically strong choice. I mean, it just seems to me that Antonio he feels so confident. It's like, that's ridiculous.
All right, but the other thing is that it could make it very comical. Then is still even if he doesn't know, and it's not and it's a strong choice.
If you make it that he knows the law, then that really loses some of the dramatic tension.
Okay, fine. Then how about this? If making the strong choice, which is what I was going through, is that he doesn't know, but he's learning in court the same way that Shylock is. But he goes from this horrible remorse of self-pity, and he's going to lose his life and wants everybody to feel sorry for him, to this cocky, just very cold when he gives that speech, so that do you know what I'm saying? In other words, I'm trying to get from desperation to coldness.
Yeah, if you keep it in the courtroom scene, then it makes more sense.
Comical,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, yeah, he's great, and there really are fascinating characters. I think that that Graziano is an anti-Semitic character,
Definitely.
But that doesn't make the play anti-Semitic. I think we also, I really take Michael's point about this is called the Merchant of Venice, not the Jew of Venice, because we should look at the way these Christians behave. And the hypocrisy of them. I mean, with Portia, with all of this beautiful speech about the quality of mercy, and then showing Shylock no mercy.
And what is all this crap about the ring? They're trying to forget what they did.
Yeah. Well, and anyways, Derek, this was a terrific reading. Thank you so much for putting it together. Since you put it together and you did a great job at Shylock, if you have any sort of final words you want to say before we finish.
No final words. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
If anybody wants The Wolf in the Water, email me and I'll send it out to you.
Okay, great. Yes. And I'll be sending out more things. We are having another sort of little Shakespeare event tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time on April 26th, basically because we were going to do a thing on April 26th at the Jefferson Market Library, and I figured if we said we were going to do a date, we should do a date here. And it will be similar to what we did on Thursday on Shakespeare's birthday, where it's a sort of Shakespeare free-for-all where people can bring things to do, bring things to talk about. Tony was there at the last thing we did, and everybody got a chance to sort of like share a speech, and we had some fun time, and we can talk some other things about Shakespeare, especially since also April 26th is a real historical date in terms of Shakespeare's life, and that is the date that his baptism was registered, you know. So
that we know, yes.
That's when he was baptized. So we know that. We don't know April 23rd was necessarily his birthday.
Right.
But April 26th is like the beginning of the historical register on Eulomius Shakespeare, as it looks like, and it William Shakespeare that they spelled with a G, of course, you know. So, so we're going to do that. Next Friday, we are going to have the May Day Thomas More reading at 4 p.m., which if you want to be in, if you can be in, or if you know other people who might be interested, have them get in touch with Eleanor.
Please pass the word.
Yes, EEFWWW@yahoo.com is Eleanor's email address. And then also next Saturday at 1 p.m. we're doing Richard II. And the Saturday following that, May 9th at 1 p.m. we'll be doing As You Like It. And that's the schedule of what we have so far. And as we schedule more things, we'll let you know as people have other things that readings that they'd like to do. It's great. It's really great having Toby here, who was here in the very first year of Instant Shakespeare, and also Julie and Tony, who I believe sort of started in like the second year.
Yes,
and
third year.
others who've been doing it for quite a while, and Derek, who's just been playmastering for so many years. Have you done all of the plays yet, Derek, or are you?
Oh, no, I still have a lot to go.
Okay.
At least a decade's worth.
All right.
Paul, if we want to do a reading, do we do it through your account, or do we set up, because I don't know if I can set up my own.
At this point, what I have done is I've sort of set up my account as an account with the sort of seminar features, so that we can have people doing these for a longer time, and we can set up it where we have panelists and attendees. That's the sort of the webinar setup. I mean, people can set up meetings. If you have your own Zoom account, you can set up meetings with people. You can have one-on-one meetings that can go on like without any time limit. If you have more than like 2 people, then you either have a 40-minute limit for a meeting,
right?
Or sometimes one time when I was doing it and I had a 40-minute limit and they said they could exceed it, but they won't necessarily do that and probably won't do that other times. But there's sort of the regular account where then you can have meetings with people up to 100 people and no time limit. But
So so if I wanted to do a playmaster this, I would go through the webinar account, which is your account.
Yeah. So let me know what you want to do and when you want to do it, and yeah, we can get that into the schedule. I mean,
this thing doesn't look like it's going to end soon, does it? I mean, are we going into May now? We're going to be doing more.
Probably at least May 15th, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I mean, because basically the public library, which we don't know when they're going to reopen, but they had already canceled all of their events through the end of May. So the earliest we were going to start with events through the theater were in June. So I mean, we're doing this at least until then, and it could be longer. It could be. I mean, we're in theater. We don't know. How do you do theater with people maintaining social distancing? I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it's
no Delacorte this year. I know. No Richard II. So you have a Richard II already. Who's playmaster that?
Jonathan Brahms.
Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, he very much wanted to playmaster it. And so, yeah, that's going to be next. I think he's got it all fully cast. But
I saw an email come in. I'm in it. I saw an email come in while we were reading that looked like it's the full cast, but I didn't really take a look.
No, I know. It's just But yes, and so if you have things, if you have other readings you want to put together, and people you want to do things with.
You have an As You Like It already, right? You're somebody who's doing As You Like It?
Yeah,
I am.
Just Saturdays.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to be in that. She's already cast it.
I think most of the parts, but
I can't make out who's saying things.
Okay.
Because Vicky was assigned to do it, and we have been speaking about it, but she's like me with not being very computer savvy, but maybe if we can use the webinar account.
Yeah, no, we can do that, and I've reached out to most of the playmasters had expressed a preference of in terms of wanting to do them when we could do them live, and
Right.
so I let them know that I mean because it's like we don't have to just do like one production of As You Like It. I mean because yeah, Vicky is going to do As You Like It whenever we can get it together and do them in real life.
Okay.
And if other people want to do things, I really appreciate that Derek stepped up to playmaster in this new medium, as Eleanor is doing next week, and Jonathan Brahms next week, and Jennifer Finger doing the week after for As You Like It. And I believe Jennifer is probably still looking for people. So if anyways, I will send an email.
Do me a favor, put me down for Much Ado About Nothing, because I think I was supposed to do that one anyway in May, wasn't I?
Okay, well,
yeah.
What sort of time would you like to be doing that at, and we can see about getting.
To tell you the truth, I would love to do like this other group I do a 7:30 in the evening, the 7:15 call and start at 7:30. If anybody likes to do evening ones.
I've done a couple of things like this past week, like our Shakespeare event, and another webinar about doing putting together your own readings that I did at 7:30. And so yeah, I'm thinking maybe make like regular times on Saturdays at 1, possibly Sundays at 4, and possibly like Wednesdays at 7:30.
I can't do Wednesday because that's when I do the other group, but any day but Wednesday.
Any day but Wednesday. All right.
Yeah.
A Thursday be it then, maybe.
Thursday. Why not? Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, once again, thank you so much. Thank you to our attendees. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Lulu. Thanks for doing this. As I say, I believe this is live on YouTube, and so it should be there. I wasn't able to start it at the beginning, so it starts somewhere through. And but anyways, thank you all so much for doing this. Thank you, Derek, and have a great
a weekend. Not that you can tell it from the rest of the weekend.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. I have to figure out how to get off this. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Oh, yes.
Goodbye.
Oh, plague isn't bad.